Looks like we're live. A little bit early or a little bit late, depending on how you perceive time. Welcome back to the Unstuck Sessions. This is the sixth, I think this is number six that I'm doing today. Um, on today's episode, we're going to have a two for one, and I'm going to try to condense the nonsense to keep it brief. Um, Two things. So, if you find yourself stuck in your business or launching your business, there might be one important element that you're leaving out. And so, we're going to talk about that important element. Also, this is what we're going to. I'm opening up the comments. Go ahead and pitch an idea for a business. If you have a business idea that you've been kind of kicking around your head, feel free to pitch it and kind of tell me what you're thinking and tell me what your work experience is or what your interests are. And I'll see if I can find a kind of something that a specific niche for you to test out. Maybe I can even have one or two. It seems to be something I kind of have an affinity for, so I'm gonna see how fast I can do it in a live environment. So those are the two things we got on the Unstuck Sessions this week. I'm gonna go ahead and roll the intro, and then we'll get back to the program. Peace. All right, welcome back to the Unstuck Sessions. Again, I'm Brian. I'm a marketing consultant. I run a marketing agency called I Sell Words with my wife, Brandy. And normally she is my co-host for the What's the Business podcast, where we make it our business to get into the details of your business. I like to do these live streams on Tuesday to talk about different elements of business and marketing. And specifically, this series has been about talking about our product that we're rolling out called the Unstuck Sessions. The Unstuck Sessions are basically an opportunity for you to bring a single issue regarding Okay. We bring a single issue and laser focus on the issue to try to bring it to some kind of resolution and give you a couple of next steps. The reason why we created the Unstuck Sessions is one of the things that we run into as consultants, and it's something I've been guilty of as a consultant and something I've experienced. When you go out and meet with a consultant, a lot of times they'll give you a laundry list of things to do and things to work on that to improve your business. And I can tell you in personal experience, um, that laundry list a lot of times is not the most effective way to deliver that information, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to create a service where you bring a single issue, we address that single issue and remove that log jam and see what else flows downstream. And if we run into another sticking point, then we bring that issue to an unstuck meeting and figure out a way to navigate around that. And that's the service. So you're not leaving the meeting with a big laundry list of things that you need to focus on. We try to laser focus on one thing. And for a lot of business owners, time is a commodity in of itself. And so that's something that I think could be beneficial. We save you time by focusing on the major issue at hand. So today, first things first. Thanks for those that are popping in and out. I know this is some people's lunch hour, and I really do appreciate any time that you're able to spend on platform. Or if you check in and see that it's not what you're interested in, thanks for popping in. So today I'm gonna probably get started here with this. There's one element that your business is missing if you're stuck. And sometimes it's not the easiest thing to see. You get so laid out where you're like, I got this fantastic business plan, I got my financing, I got the perfect location, um, you know, my website set up, my social media set up, it's all connected. I even have a mailing list running to capture people's information so that I can continue to stay in contact with them and continue the conversation. I got my sales system set up. I know kind of what I'm doing in terms of getting clients and the stuff like that. But for whatever reason, I can't launch or I can't move forward, and I can't figure out what the barrier is. I cannot figure out, I know where my people are. I cannot get them to take the next step to reach out to me. I can't get them to take the next step to even get them to talk to me. I know where to find them. I just can't engage them. I don't know Why I can't engage them. I have conversations with them, but I can't engage them um, in a traditional, I have a service or product that can solve your problem. You appear to have a problem. Let's connect things together. And a lot of times when you get stuck in that manner where everything else is going right and you can't figure out what's going on, a lot of times the reality is the element that your business is missing is you. Let me repeat that. A lot of times when you're stuck and you don't know where else to go, a lot of times the element that's missing is you, your personality, um, the reason why you started the business, your passion. That's not coming across on your website. Sometimes it's not getting communicated in your social media. Sometimes your personality doesn't infuse any parts of the business. And so when people come to your business or when they come to you with a problem, what they get is this dry, sterile, um, kind of presentation, which really doesn't reflect who you are as a person. If you're a high energy person who likes to engage people and you love to solve people's problems, but you have this very um, kind of soulless, so I hate to say it like that, but I mean, let's be honest. A lot of times, a lot of the coaches that you run into in this space, they will say, talk about professionalism and things like that. And sometimes we carry that we carry a lot of that baggage from our corporate jobs, especially if you worked in a corporate job that was really obsessed with ladder climbing and professionalism and all this other stuff. You get so locked into that kind of stuff that when you try to make a business experience for somebody, when you try to, open your business, you lead with that piece of it. The most boring part of all of corporate culture, you're leading with it. You want to be seen as professional. And we all do. We all want to be seen as professionals in what we do. But a lot of times, just being buttoned up and professional isn't the reason why your clients come to you. In some cases, it could be. There's some professions where that level of professionalism should lead. And it's where it's about complex situations that require trust and require precision, and sometimes like that. Sometimes it does make sense to lead with that. And if that's what your audience is looking for, then that's what you provide. But I guarantee you that in a lot of businesses, people are super obsessed with this appearance of being a professional that they don't really share the elements of what makes them great at what they do. What is the passion that drives that? Who is the person behind the business? What are some of your quirks? What are some of the things that you like? Where is that in the presentation of your business, especially on social media? This uptight, buttoned up persona that you've crafted from, working in the corporate world looks great, but it's not exactly winning over clients. When you take your dog to a dog groomer, or do you want a dog groomer that I'm 100% professional, completely, cut to the chase, matter of fact, where is this animal? Let's get it groomed. And they have it all laid out. Or do you want somebody that's good with dogs? That can put your dog at ease and give them a grooming experience that does not traumatize them. You got to think about that kind of stuff. And a lot of times our businesses don't reflect what our passions actually are. And they don't really tell people why we got into the business in the first place. There's plenty of photographers out there who have these super genericized web presences online, and you never get a sense that they actually like doing photography or taking pictures. It's just a matter of fact thing that gets done and that's it. And it's this really super, like almost you pay me and I deliver the service, which that's what we want a lot of times. But, when you're paying somebody for a creative kind of artistic job, sometimes you do want elements of their personality. You're connecting with the images that you saw on the website, and those images have pieces of the person who created it. It has pieces of their personality within it. If you scrub all the personality out of your business, out of your social media content, out of all your messaging, and it's just this really dry thing, you may have a very difficult time connecting with the clients that you want to connect with. especially if you want to draw clients that are kind of like you, that have kind of similar personalities and similar interests and stuff. If you want to attract that group, that's going to end up being your most loyal clients, the ones that really super align with the values and stuff of your company. If you have no personality in your company, it's very, very, very difficult to retain them. You don't want this super sterile experience when they come to you. You know, when you're picking out a doctor, depending on what the doctor's serving, you may go with different personality types. If you're picking out a dentist, that may be the same thing. But specifically, like I said, with the pet groomer, you don't want super Mr. Mr. and Mrs. uptight that doesn't seem to really care about your dog or cat outside of how much money you're paying for them. You want somebody that actually likes animals. It tries to give the animals a comfortable experience. So that's what I'm saying. That might be the element that's missing out of your business if you're in that kind of, you've launched, but you're having a difficult time dialing in a marketing message that attracts the kind of people that you want to interact with. You need to probably start there first and make sure that your business reflects who you are as a person and the values that you want to put out into the world. Now, on the other hand, if you have values that you know are repellent to a good chunk of the population, it may not be best to lead with those. There's some very high key examples of, where somebody had a specific persona. I know one of the news stories I read down in Atlanta was it kind of stuck with me because that's one of the businesses I'm in, is youth sports training, and he was training athletes down in Atlanta to play football or whatnot. And since Georgia has been a hub of talent for college football players and stuff, it was a very booming industry because all the players in the state are trying to fight to get into his facility. And he's also a football coach. And audio got released of him saying some very vile things about the specific demographic of players that he worked with. And, if that's the message you wanted out there, it was kind of a dumb way to release it, because a lot of the players that he would normally, a lot of the parents and stuff that have been trusting him to develop and nurture their kids are seeing that he has some very, what's the word, aberrant views on those specific kids and those specific parents, and they're giving him money. So he shows actual contempt for the people that he's working with. And that's not something that you want to lead with. Now, there's going to be a segment of the population, unfortunately, there's going to be a segment of the population that's actually drawn to him because of the way that he puts his stuff out there. So it remains to be seen what he actually has done to his business model based on that. But, don't lead with that. If you know that there are elements of your personality or things that you like that might generate controversy, don't lead with that. Or if you really want to go 100% in and you really are in that position where you're just launching and you really want to clearly define your base, you can absolutely go to those kind of niche interest groups and do a lot of business in them, as long as you're speaking a message that they align with. Bulletproof Coffee is a good example of that. Their sub niche is really tied to gun ownership and stuff like that. And so that's what they lead into. That's what they lean into. And so there are different ways to approach it, but just making sure that you have your personality within your business is very important. That's one of the pitfalls that coming from a corporate world kind of sets you up to fail when you're managing your own business, because the emphasis on professionalism at all times isn't always the best thing for business. Sometimes you need to show that you're a human being, just like your clients are. And you're in it because you have a strong desire to serve people and help people. And that's the thing you lead with for your business. So that's the piece I want to talk about. Looks like I'm trying to see if we have anybody in the chat here. So I'm gonna pull that up here in a second and kind of see. Like I said, if you have any questions or anything about business or marketing, go ahead and drop them in the chat. If you got any comments or anything, I can share them on the air. Make sure that when you share a comment, you leave your name so that I can kind of see who it is, because StreamYard doesn't really do a great job of sharing everybody's name from every single platform that I'm on. And a lot of times it makes it harder to really answer your questions, just because I don't know exactly who's coming from. So make sure that if you do drop a comment or whatnot, you let me know who it's coming from. Um, and that way I can shout you out on the podcast. I mean, on the show. So um, moving forward, and then I'll recap all of this at the end of this thing. Um, but the biggest thing is having your personality lead in your business is super important. And it can help you really define your client base. It can help you really target your marketing to attract the clients that you want to attract and kind of repel the clients that you don't want to attract, because that's important too. Is really important when coming up with your business, because a lot of times the clients that you don't want to attract, it's good to have a message that kind of pushes them away, because if they are just coming to do business with you just because they see your face and they're like, well, I can get this product anywhere, you may be in a situation where you have a client that you can never, ever please, because there's a disconnect between why they want your services and what their expectations of your services are. So you do want to have a marketing message that says this service is for you if these things apply, and it may not be right for you if these things apply. And a lot of times, if somebody really wants to do business with you, they may kind of bend what their expectations are to match what you're saying they need to have their expectations as when they come to do business with you. That makes sense. So, but that's why that messaging is important. We're going to recap all this stuff. The next segment for people that are dropping in and dropping out, and I'm probably going to have to repeat this a couple of different times. The next thing is, if you have a business idea or concept, and you're looking for a niche, pop in the comments, kind of tell me what you're thinking about, and tell me what some of your work history is, or what some of your experiences are, what some of your interests are, and we'll see if we can find a niche for you. That's what I want to do on this session. It's probably going to be something I do in an after work session, maybe a little bit later on in the afternoon, when more people are off. But I wanted to kind of test it out here. So give me your business, your general business concept and your experience and your work experience and skills that you have, and I'll try to find a niche for you. Specifically, because the reality is that's where the money is, finding a niche. You can always serve the expectations of the people in that niche. And that's what's important. Trying to serve everybody serves nobody. You end up becoming the Walmart of what you do. And Walmart isn't known for having premium pricing. Let's just be honest. So that's the other thing we're doing. Having a clearly defined identity in your business allows you to make sure that all your website copy your words on the website, make sure all your website copy, make sure all your social media messages align with who you are as a business. And that's very important. By having that unified message, clients get consistency across the board. It also makes it easier when you hire a social media manager. You can say, this is what our message is, and this is what our voice is. And then you can kind of give them some materials to consume and tell them, here's the calendar that we have, let's get posting. It makes it a lot easier to have other people, have your employees kind of advocate for your business outside. It's easier to get your marketing people in line when you have a consistent message across the board. And a lot of times businesses don't really sit down and think about what the voice is, what perspective they're bringing to the market, who their ideal clients are, what the owner's specific tastes are, what they like and what don't they like, and things along those lines. A lot of that stuff is really important information when it comes to building out the culture and stuff of your business. I don't really get into the brand stuff, but that's really what that piece is. You know, brand is how people kind of perceive your business. And a lot of times you think that you have a brand in mind, but it may not be translated to your clients. And so then your identity with your brand, you spend all this time honing your identity with this brand, and your clients don't perceive you as the same thing that you are leading with in terms of your brand. It's a weird concept, but your clients determine what your brand is. You could put all the work into an engineering it and everything, but your clients are going to associate the quality with your brand, and then they're going to kind of determine what your brand message is and what your brand reflects to them. And it takes a long time to kind of figure out, okay, so this is what the clients have been telling me my brand means to them. How do I incorporate that back into my messaging? It's not an easy process. It's necessary, but that's why when I say your brand doesn't matter a lot, because your brand doesn't matter until people interact with your products or services, and then they make a determination on what your brand is based on what you say, what's in the media about you, what's on your website about you, and then they have their personal experience as a reference to kind of determine what the perception of your brand actually is. The branding piece comes down the road. But one of the things that can help you towards that branding piece is really infusing the business with elements of your personality. What things do you like? Are you are you an avid coffee drinker? Is that the thing that gets you going in the morning? Somehow that needs to be in your marketing message to speak to other people who need coffee to get them going in the morning. Now you have a mutual interest. It's a lot easier to market to people that have a mutual interest. you know um are you a weekend warrior? Do you go out and are you flag football, frisbee golf, climbing mountains and all that other stuff on the weekends? That needs to be somewhere reflected in your marketing message so that you can track those other types to your business. People that have those similar kind of interests. you know are you a parent of an athlete? There are very specific conversations that parents of athletes have, especially if they're playing in clubs and stuff like that. There's very specific conversations that they can have that everybody else is not having. And so, is that something that's very important in your life? Are you a referee for kids games? That's something that's important in your life. That needs to be referenced in maybe your bio section, your about us section, something along that, something that tells who the person behind the veil is, who the person is behind the business. It's important, y'all. And unfortunately, that doesn't get enough consideration. You know, if you're out there doing stuff in the community for your neighbors on a day-to-day basis, and that's something that you really value, then there's plenty of opportunities for you to be an advocate for getting out and volunteering and stuff, and show how volunteering informs your business approach and why it's important to you, and how your business aligns with that need for community service. Like, these are important considerations you need to put into your marketing message. And just by trying to be sterile and professional, you are not showing that. You're not showing that side of who you are. And that's the piece that people connect with the hardest. It's also the hardest piece. It's the most vulnerable piece of yourself to put out there a lot of times, because there are going to be people, even when you are volunteering and doing what's a public good. Maybe you're feeding people who are down on who are down on their luck. They may not have a home. You're volunteering. Your staff is volunteering, and stuff like that. They're going to be people that push back against that message and feel like you're doing something wrong. And it's weird, but there are people you'll find people in your client base that might be stridently against the volunteer work that you're doing. They have their own reasons. The question you need to ask is, do you want them to continue on as a client? If they can't accept something that is important to you as a business owner, and as a human being, at some point you guys are going to find a point of disconnection between what their expectations of you are and what you actually do. So, are you going to try to retain them as a client, or is it not that big of a deal? And are you willing to lose them through attrition because they don't really align with what your business's idea of a perfect client is? I mean, these are conversations that you need to have. And it does lead to another side point that I think I'm gonna get into, since there's not really anybody on here. There is nothing wrong with saying no to a client that's not appropriate for your business. There's nothing wrong with it. Matter of fact, it strengthens your business. Being able to turn away work and saying, no, this doesn't align with what I want to do. It doesn't really jibe with who I am as a business owner, or it's something that you have the capacity to do, but you just don't like. Having that ability to say no and turn away money is a very powerful thing. Because when you first start a business, a lot of times you take whatever work walks into the door and you don't have a lot of space to consider, is this an appropriate use of time? Is this a use of time that aligns with my bigger purpose in my business or whatnot? Or is it just something I'm doing to get money in the door? And we've all done that, something to get money in the door. The very first time you can say, you know what, this isn't right for me, this specific model. And yeah, I could technically do it, but it doesn't align with who I am as a business owner. That's a very powerful thing. And a lot of times young business owners never, when I say young business owners, I'm talking about early business owners, early stage business owners never get out of that I'll take the money kind of thing, where they end up doing services that don't really align with who they are or what they want to be doing, but they need the money in the door. And unfortunately, that's a trap that that's easy to fall into. So being able to have a clear identity for who your business is and what values your business has, and that's what you're leading with on social media, allows you to say, no, this service doesn't align with what I want. And it gives you the power to refuse it and say, nope, that doesn't work for me. And it's important. I mean, it's a very important thing to be able to do, because that puts you in a different frame of mind. I'll be honest, I'll get a little bit esoteric here. It puts you in a different frame of mind, because it takes you from that consumer mind state to the producer mind state, the business owner mind state, where, you are kind of dictating the service, you're kind of dictating the terms by which you will provide businesses or services. It's powerful and it's necessary. And that's the thing that gets you out of bargain basement pricing and gets you out of that competing on price escalator, escalator to hell. That's what it is when you're competing on price. It's just this escalator, this slow descent, this absolute race to the bottom, the treadmill to the bottom. You don't want to be on that. So that's what I got. Still picking up people, people are dropping off. Here's what I want to do. One of the things I want to do is, if you have a niche idea or a business idea, tell me what your business idea is. Just a general concept. You don't have to give me all the gory details, but kind of idea for a business that you want to do, and then tell me what your work experience is and what your interests are, and I'll see if I can whip up a niche for you to try and test out. And once you kind of have an idea of niches, you can kind of start finding where the people that occupy those niches dwell, because that's an important factor in determining your messaging. You have to figure out where if you're in a youth sports training business like we are, you have to figure out where the youth sports parents are. That's what it is. You have to figure out where they are and what conversations they're having, and then engage in those conversations and provide good information for them to use, become a resource for them. Whether it's, youth training, or how to position their kids for how to actually manage their kids. Because at the end of the day, it's managing your kid's career, more or less. Even if they only are playing in high school and that's as far as they want to go, there's still a career element that has to be managed and stuff. And you're determining what they play and what they don't play and what they participate in and what enrichment opportunities are available, what camps are available. There's a lot of other considerations. And so being present in those conversations to be able to provide your insight as an expert that's trained a lot of different kids, it can be a great asset to a parent, and it could be the impetus that allows them to decide that they want you to train their kid or work with their kid. You provided them great information, and they align with your values, as a former athlete or as a coach or whatever. They align with your values, and they believe what you believe, and that's a great basis to start a business relationship with, where you have people that align with the things that you believe and your passions. That's a great place to start a business. And then you can find similar interests, and you can find ways to tailor make their experience with your product or service. You can tailor make it to fit their specific needs or wants. And you can create new products based solely on what they like and what they don't like. And you always have a consumer there. That's the important piece of it. That's what I'm saying. The piece that you want to have in your business is you, because you, and leading with your personality, your interests, and your passions, and the things that are important to you and your values, can help out with your business so much, because it can help you really narrowly define that market. So that's what I got today, y'all. Like I said, I probably got to find a time for a live stream where I can get more people online, because I know a lot of a lot of my friends are working. A lot of business owners are at work handling the business. They don't have time to break in the middle of a day to watch me drone on about business and marketing. But that may be something that we can do in the evening, or maybe in the morning when people have time to consume it. But the thing I want to ask is, if you have a business concept, tell me what your business concept is. The email is kind of scrolling across the bottom of the screen. You can send it to mail@isellwords.net. Just kind of tell me what your business concept is and what your work experience is and what your interests are. And I'll see what I can do in terms of coming up with a specific niche or a couple of niches that you can test out, and see what you want to do. And I'm talking about niche. I guess I need to define that a little bit. And I think the example I gave was, I'm trying to think, last week, the example I gave was, say you're a personal trainer that has experience working with pregnant women who are still looking to maintain their physical condition, but they have to really account for being pregnant. And there's a lane for personal trainers who understand what exercises are safe, what exercises aren't safe. They can communicate with doctors and see, what the doctor's saying is allowable versus what, their personal training experience says is allowable and stuff like that. There is a specific lane for personal trainers that specialize in working with pregnant women. There's a lane for personal trainers that work with new mothers, because there are changes and stuff like that. And so, and a lot of times the videos that are in that space have super unrealistic expectations. Get your pre-baby body back in, 4 weeks. That's not for most people who don't have millions and millions of dollars to spend on trainers or surgeries and stuff. That isn't exactly a doable path. But having a personal trainer that understands that can calibrate a program to address the needs of, brand new mothers, and especially when it comes to rest and downtime and stuff like that. It can, there could be a profitable niche for somebody who operates in that space, and that's all you serve. And that's all your services are calibrated to serve. And you can find different types of sub niches, high risk pregnancies and things along those lines, and really specialize if you wanted to go into it. That's important. Let's say, I'm gonna throw this one out here, and I just kind of came up with it. Say you have a dental practice, but you only focus on people who work like night shift kind of jobs, or you only, who work odd shifts, who may not, or have jobs where they may not be able to take time off during the day, where you are the dental practitioner that operates at odd times. Yeah, there's emergency dental care and stuff like that, but is there a dental office that's open, that opens at 10 o'clock at night to service clients who need treatment at that time, who need regular procedures, non-emergency procedures? You can really build a business around that. It's a specific niche, but there are plenty of people who don't work traditional hours, who have non-traditional schedules. You know, a dog walker that also is for entrepreneurs. For people that are in entrepreneur jobs or high stakes kind of jobs, but that have demanding hours and they provide higher than above average care for the dogs they care for. That's a lane. That's a niche. So, and you're going to find lots of money in those spaces, especially if you're the only person operating in that space. And so that's what I'm offering. That's what I'm saying. Give me a business concept. Tell me what your work experience is. Tell me what some of your interests are, and I'll see if I can find a specific niche for you to fit into. That's available. I'll probably do another live stream that's solely focused on that, and I will just be shutting up and just kind of sitting here and waiting for people to trickle in. But the mid-afternoon live streams are a good idea for me, a good way for me to flesh out my ideas and concepts and talk about different things that, different things that pop up in different consultations. And it just kind of gives me it's almost like an online journal of what my thoughts are regarding different issues. So I'm still continue to do the live streams, whether y'all pop on or not. I'm gonna still sit in the studio and talk to this camera. So that's all I got, y'all. If you're interested in an Unstuck session, go ahead and contact us at mail@isellwords.net. We're probably going to put together a landing page and start linking that in the show notes so that if you want to book an Unstuck session, you can. And for a quick explanation, I'll run it down. Unstuck sessions are basically a handful of meetings that allow us to assess what sticking points you're having with your business and then create a meeting that addresses one of those issues, obliterates that as a problem, and gives you some next action steps so you can solve that problem and start and get around the log jam that you have in your business. Whether you're 10 years in the business or it's an idea concept that you're trying to launch. Having that single area of focus can mean so much to a business owner. And a lot of consultants, when you sit down with them, they'll give you a laundry list of issues, and that can be really overwhelming on top of all the other stuff that comes with launching a business or running a business. So that's what the Unstuck sessions are. It's a series of meetings. The very first meeting is a sticking points meeting that assesses what the sticking points are with your business. The next meeting is the actual Unstuck meeting where we start to, unravel the problem, figure out what that single point, that single friction point is, and figuring out a way to navigate around that so that you can start down the path of business ownership. And so that's what the Unstuck sessions are. We've got done with our round of beta clients or whatnot. We're finishing up a couple of beta meetings, and so we're ready to take on clients. We've gotten some fantastic feedback from our clients regarding the efficacy of the Unstuck sessions and the importance of having a singular point of focus to address in those meetings. And it means the world to us that the people that took some time out of their days to sit down and talk with us. But that's the service that we're rolling out here. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off a little bit early so I can start heading to go pick up my kids on time from school. If you have any business concepts or ideas in the next 5 minutes, go ahead and drop them in the comments. And what we'll do is I'll try to answer them before I go. Like I said, drop your business concept or idea and give me some of your work history or experience, and I'll try to give you a niche that you can chase and see if it's profitable for you. So that's what I got. I'm gonna sit online for a few more minutes and then I'm gonna be out. like I said, if there's better times that work for you, go ahead and let me know, so that because I really want this to be a question and answer session, and that's what's the most important thing. I have points of things I want to talk about, things like that, but really, my goal is to provide a service to business owners. That's all I care about. I want to be able to provide you, some solutions that are actually workable for you in pursuit of your chasing entrepreneurship lifestyle and entrepreneurship dream. And a lot of times, people that are in the entrepreneur space, it's a lot of, you know, high level thinking that may or may not be exactly applicable to whatever, that may not be usable to people that are just getting started out. And so that's what this thing is. It's about making sure that there's a voice that can kind of guide you along the way and give you some usable information to get you along your path. And so if you found this, even if you don't have time to watch it right now, if there's some jewels in here, some wisdom that you pick up on, share it with other people. Let them know that, these are the Tuesday live streams. I'm going to do them for as long as I can. And let them know that this is where we discuss things. It normally starts about 1:30 or 2. And I go until it's time to go pick up the kids from school. So but that's what I got, y'all. I'm gonna check a few more things, and then I think I'm gonna sign off for the day. All right. So again, you might be the element that's missing in your business. Your business may be devoid of your personality, your likes, dislikes, interests, volunteer work, hobbies, things along those lines. And, including those elements into your business may be the things that allow you to connect with the audience that you want to reach. So take some time and look at your marketing and, look at it from an impartial perspective. Sit down and look at your marketing on your social media or look at your newsletters and figure out, does this reflect who I am as a person and as a business owner? Or is it just talking about our products or services? Are people able to get a good gauge of what I like and dislike and what my interests are as a business owner? And if you don't get that sense of personality from your social media or your website, it might be a good time to start including some things that, some values, some personal values that you infuse your business with. And people need to understand that these are the values of the owner. These are the things that are important to the owner. If you're spiritual, that might be the thing that infuses a lot of your stuff on your website, and maybe that goes on to your About Us page, and maybe that goes on to the video introducing you and your staff. Share really who you are so that people get a good sense of the person behind the business. So that's all I got, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Brian with I Sell Words and the What's the Business podcast. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.